Good, good. Hi, everybody. Okay, I have a couple of. Just gonna close the door real quick. Thank you. All right, Abby. I have a couple of things for you at the top. First of all, as we all know, we're traveling to Howell, Michigan, where the president will continue to rally public support for his bipartisan infrastructure bill and Build Back Better agenda, which will make our country more competitive and grow our economy by investing in working families, fully paid by making sure that the biggest corporations and wealthiest Americans pay their fair share. In particular, this trip will show how the bipartisan infrastructure will provide good-paying, high-skill union jobs across the country. While in Howell, the president will visit the International Union of Operating Engineers Local 324 training facility. He will then deliver remarks making the case for the bipartisan infrastructure bill and his Build Back Better agenda. Operating Engineers Local 324 has been in existence for over 100 years and currently has over 14,000 members. Examples of programs on site include learning how to operate heavy GPS-enhanced equipment, running complex temperature systems of commercial buildings, and installing water, sewer, and utility infrastructure. The Bipartisan Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act will make a generational investment in Michigan's infrastructure and resilience, including on roads and bridges, public transportation, electric vehicles, high-speed internet, clean water, and resilience. For example, 14% of Michigan households do not have an internet subscription. Michigan will receive a minimum allocation of $100 million to help provide broadband coverage across the state. From 2010 to 2020, Michigan experienced 19 extreme weather events. The bill includes a $50 billion national investment in resilience to strengthen our infrastructure for the impacts of climate change. The Build Back Better agenda will make life better for millions of working families in Michigan, and bold investment in childcare, universal pre-K, tax cuts for families with children and childless workers, higher education, housing, and child nutrition. For instance, the average Michigan two-parent household spends $10,400 to care for just one young child every year. The Build Back Better plan cuts child care costs by more than half of most low and middle income Michiganders and improves quality of child care. In terms of higher education, the average cost of a 2-year degree in Michigan is $4,000 per year. The plan provides at least 2 years of free community college to all students and expands the maximum Pell Grant by nearly $1,500, supporting the 174,000 students in Michigan who rely on Pell for their education. Both of these packages will help level the playing field for people all over the state of Michigan in both urban and rural communities. Another item for all of you is there's a new report from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, shows that COVID-19 vaccination may have helped prevent hundreds of thousands of new COVID-19 infections and tens of thousands of deaths among seniors. The study found that vaccinations were linked to a reduction of approximately 265,000 COVID-19 infections, 107,000 hospitalization, and 39,000 deaths among Medicare beneficiaries between January and May 2021. Today's report reflects both the devastating effect COVID-19 has had on our vulnerable seniors and also demonstrates the efforts to prioritize and vaccinate this group directly correlate to saving lives. The last item I have for you is that the president had another meeting with House members, and we'll have more of a readout later today, but I can share with you the list of names of folks that he met with. As you can imagine, this is going to be this meeting was on both packages. It was a very strong engagement, and he's going to continue to have these engagement with congressional members as the upcoming days come ahead. So the members he met with include Colin Allred, Congressman from Texas, Cindy Axne, Congresswoman from Iowa, Sharice Davids, Congresswoman Sharice Davids from Kansas, Lizzie Fletcher, Congresswoman from Texas, Congressman Vicente Gonzalez, Congresswoman Lucy McBath from Georgia, Tom O'Halloran, Congressman from Arizona, Porter, Congresswoman from California, Abigail Spanberger, Congresswoman from Virginia, Lauren Underwood, Congresswoman from Illinois, and Congresswoman Susan Wild of PA. So those are the folks that he met with today, and it was, like I said, it was a constructive meeting, and on both of his pieces of economic policy that we've been talking about, Build Back Better agenda and the bipartisan infrastructure. You want to kick us off?
All right, thank you so much. We heard from the president yesterday speak about the need to lift the debt ceiling, forcefully calling out Republicans to do so. Both President Biden and Senate Minority Leader McConnell have in the past praised their relationship, said they could work together to get things done. Has President Biden picked up the phone and called Senate Minority Leader McConnell, and does he plan to?
Good question, Jonathan. So the president is always open to having conversations, as you know. I don't have any scheduled updates to provide at this time. Clearly no call to read out. But as you know, there's been contact with Senator McConnell from the highest levels of the administration, including a recent call with Secretary Yellen. And in those conversations, we've made clear how catastrophic the consequences would be if Republicans continue to vote to default and block Democrats from solving this ourselves. Senator McConnell acknowledges there's nothing to negotiate here. Republicans have refused to do the responsible thing and voted instead to default. And when Democrats opted to go at it alone to get this done, McConnell blocked that as well. So as the president made very clear yesterday, we're no longer asking Republicans to do the right thing. We're just asking them to get out of the way.
A follow up on this, Senator Manchin said yesterday that he doesn't support your strategy. And said you should use reconciliation, and Secretary Yellen this morning in an interview also declined to rule out using reconciliation. If Republicans again block Schumer's vote in the upcoming vote, is it time to switch to reconciliation now?
As you can imagine, like, the conversations that we're having are critical and important, and so we're going to continue to have those. As it comes to reconciliation, as the president said yesterday, reconciliation is a complicated, cumbersome process that is ripe for more obstruction by Republicans and could lead to hundreds of unrelated votes bogging down the legislative process as he raced towards default and devastating economic consequences. We shouldn't be playing games with a cataclysmic potential outcome. We have a bill in the Senate right now that can quickly and simply Republicans simply stop blocking Democrats. We can have an up or down vote tonight and put this all behind us. Senator McConnell has made clear, again, his caucus isn't going to do the right thing by joining us in voting to address the debt limit. So we're asking him again, as we have done the last couple of days, is to please get out the way, as the president has done. And in fact, a member of Senate GOP leadership, this is Senator Rory Blunt, said that around 90% of the Republican Senate caucus would be fine with Democrats just doing this on our own with an up and down vote. So the question is, why is Senator McConnell holding us from doing just that? And why isn't he listening to his caucus or the American people?
Biden yesterday said he was planning to call Senator McConnell, and today you said he's open to talking to them. That seems a different message than what the president said yesterday. Has there been a change of opinion from that?
I just don't have a call to read out at this time, but as you can imagine, we're continuing to tell Mitch McConnell, we're talking to him on all levels, on high levels from the administration, and what we're saying is very clear: get out the way so we don't end up in this catastrophic situation, and we do the work of the American people. Look, the Republican filibuster of the debt ceiling is dangerous and it's reckless. They are playing chicken with the full faith and credit of the United States. And so as the president said yesterday, it is important to take a step back to remind remind people what this is actually about. Addressing the debt limit has nothing to do with the future spending. It's about paying bills that have been run by Congress and presidents from both parties in the past. And 97% of the debt predates the Biden administration. That is just the fact. And this is a simple question for Senate Republicans. Are they willing to send America into economic catastrophe as we come out of a pandemic, deprive seniors of their Social Security and veterans of their benefits they earned, rather than stop filibustering a simple up or down vote all over politics? Is that their message to the American people? Every Republican senator should be asked that simple question without hiding behind excuses.
Is the president reaching out to Republicans in addition to Leader McConnell?
We are trying to do everything that we can to make sure that we deliver for the American people. Look, Democrats on the Hill and here at the White House are doing everything in our power to do the right thing, the responsible thing, and that's pass the debt ceiling. Mitch McConnell, again, has blocked us at every turn. The president has been clear. He believes Congress should pass the debt ceiling in a bipartisan vote, as has happened every time before, 3 times during the Trump administration, 80 times before. This isn't a political game, as I've mentioned. This will have devastating impacts, as I just listed out. Real people will be hurt. It's time for Mitch McConnell to end these games. The president believes Mitch McConnell and Republicans should stop filibustering the debt ceiling, full stop.
I'm getting the price tag of the package down. Jen has indicated in the past that President Biden might be open to means testing, particularly community college. But does he have any red lines when it comes to means testing? For example, would he be open to that for free pre-K or childcare?
Programs in the Build Back Better plan have income limits, as you know, for eligibility, such as the child tax credit and child care. We are open to targeting other programs as well, and so that's where we're kind of at with that.
Can you give specifics which programs you might?
As you can imagine, I'm not going to negotiate from here, but we're open.
Does the White House have any comment on this New York Times story that came out just a little bit ago that said that a troubling number of the CIA's informants have been compromised or killed?
I don't have anything for you on that. I would refer you to the CIA for any comments, but I don't have anything to share on that. I haven't seen that.
Did the White House invite Representative Slotkin to the moderates call earlier today? And are they is the president concerned about her seat, and is that why he's visiting?
About why we're going, Representative Slotkin? No, I mean, look, I just laid out in the beginning in my topper what the Build Back Better agenda, what the bipartisan infrastructure bill is going to do for the people of Michigan. It has a lot of benefits that's going to help people who are in the middle class, you know, the blue collar folks who have been left behind, and also do an investment into our country, into roads and bridges that are critical and important. And so Michigan is a state that he wanted to highlight. He's been all across the country, as we all know. Some of you have been on this trip with us, talking about his Build Back agenda, talking about the bipartisan infrastructure bill. And so we're going to Michigan to do just that, to continue to have that conversation. We have to remember as well, like a lot of pieces of his agenda is popular amongst the American people, not just Democrats, but Republicans and independents at all. These are 2 pieces of legislation that the American people want to see happen. They want to be able to get that middle class tax cut, which we passed in the American Rescue Plan, that child tax credit. And so that has been critical, cutting poverty by 50%. Want to be able to have lower costs in Medicare, lower prescription, pay lower in their prescription drugs, which is really astronomically high. And so we have to continue making sure that we're connecting with the American people, having that conversation, and letting them know what's at stake, and that we're fighting for them every day.
Was Congresswoman meeting him on the ground? Congresswoman Slotkin?
Yes. Representative Slotkin will be on the ground with us. She'll be greeting us here at the airport when we land, and she'll be also at the facility.
Why go to a place that, you know, basically voted for Donald Trump? I think like 60% in that county versus 30-some% for Biden. Is it important to get his message to Trump voters?
Well, no, Nicole, I appreciate the question, but the president has said this to himself. He is the president for everyone, for people who voted for him and for people who didn't. And so again, I just listed out, example, 14% of Michigan households do not have internet subscription. Michigan will receive a minimum allocation of $100 million to help provide broadband coverage across the state. I've listed out the things that the Build Back agenda will make life better for millions of working families in Michigan with bold investment in child care, as I just mentioned, universal pre-K, a tax cut for families with children and childless workers, higher education, housing, and child nutrition. I mean, this is his agenda, his economic policy agenda. First of all, it's about not leaving anyone behind, but it's going to help people in towns in Michigan, but also across the country. Again, he's been doing this for the past several months, having these conversations, wanting to take it directly to the Americans.
Jake Sullivan's expecting to meet with Chinese officials. Can you tell us what message he's bringing there, and Taiwan a topic of discussion?
Yep, this just happened. So as we announced, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan will be meeting with his counterpart from the PCR tomorrow in Switzerland. They will follow up on the president's call with President Xi on September 9th, there's a readout of that, as you all know. As we've said, we will continue to seek to responsibly manage the competition between the U.S. and the PRC, and that's what this meeting is about. We'll have more to say about this tomorrow.
On a similar topic, Ambassador Tai is going to meet with her Chinese counterpart to discuss China's failure to live up to the Phase 1 trade agreement signed in the last administration. What is the message there? But also, to this point, it seems like any interaction between these two countries below the leader level has led nowhere. Could you speak to whether the president will try to speak to President Xi again or set up a meeting?
I don't have any meetings to confirm with the president and President Xi. You're right. Ambassador Tai, we said yesterday, is going to engage with her counterpart on the approach moving forward on the Phase 1 agreement, and that will be the main channel through which we discuss that.
Given the departure of Dr. Francis Collins, how quickly does the administration want to have his replacement in office, and do you have any update on the search for an FDA administrator?
That decision is expected to be made before Dr. Collins steps down as far as the nominee for his position. I'm not going to be making any announcements on a nominee from this Gaggle here today. And in the meantime, the American people can rest assured that there is a strong leadership across NIH and the department managing the COVID-19 pandemic and more. And so as far as the FDA, the role of the FDA commissioner is critically important, as you all know, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. We have strong acting leadership in place that is playing an important role in our COVID-19 response and beyond, and look forward to sharing a nominee with the required expertise and leadership for this job. So hopefully we'll have something soon to share.
When was the last time the president spoke to Senators Manchin or Sinema?
As you know, he's in constant communication with congressional members. I don't have anything to read out or to lay out over upcoming conversations with the two of them, but as you can imagine, they're talking to White House officials on a regular basis.
How is the administration preparing for the 60,000 Haitian migrants who are traveling to the U.S. from Central America right now? And former Haiti Special Envoy Daniel Foote is expected to testify later this week in front of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. Has the White House been in touch with him?
I don't have anything on that, on your second question at the moment. But what I can say is, we're going to continue to enforce Title 42 at the border. As we've said before, it's a public health authority, not an immigration policy. For families and single adults are expelled under the CDC directive when possible. The determination of who can be expelled or not is determined by a number of factors, including the makeup of the specific family unit and agreements with the country of origin or last residence. Another determining factor is detention capacity, both within ICE and CBP. As we have stated, those who cannot be expelled are placed into removal proceedings and issued an NTA, or when capacity issues and processing backlogs arise, they may be processed via an alternate means, which requires them to report to an ICE office to commence the next phase in their immigration proceedings. Individuals released from CBP custody are enrolled in ICE alternatives to detention programs to assist in ensuring they report to the next steps in their immigration process. So these are the factors that are in place across the border. As you can imagine, we're working with the leaders in the region on this issue of migrants coming to the border, but we do have a system in place that we're going to continue to follow, and we continue to have the push factors in telling folks this is not the time to come, and we're going to continue to do what we've been doing the past several months.
Senator Warren on the Senate floor had some strong words that Fed Chair Powell failed as a leader of the Fed by not safeguarding the Fed's integrity and preventing the trading activities that Fed officials engaged in during the crisis. Does the president retain confidence in Powell in light of these comments from Senator Warren?
Yeah, I know that this is something that Jen talked about last week. Yes, he does have confidence in Powell at this time.
Is there like a date or a deadline set when you guys will have to basically give up on McConnell and tell Senate Dems they need to pursue reconciliation to sort of ensure that we don't go off this, debt cliff?
Look, we're going to continue to make our position very clear about the debt ceiling and making sure that, Senator McConnell should know this as well. As we know, Jen put up this chart yesterday and about the chart, right? The chart that she put up, which is on Mitch McConnell's watch. The previous administration racked up nearly $8 trillion in new debt, including $2 trillion from a tax giveaway for the rich. But Republicans and Democrats still came together to address the debt limit 3 times because responsible people pay their bills. And so this has been done in the past. And so this is critical and important. And so we're going to continue to ask for bipartisanship and make sure that it's known if Mitch McConnell is not going to participate, he needs to get out the way.
Do we know if there's sort of a date that's like the point of no return, and then
I don't have a date for you at this time. We're just going to continue to be very, very clear, like the president said yesterday. We have to take a step back and look at how this has been done 80 times, and that it's been a bipartisan fashion, done in a bipartisan fashion 3 times during the Trump administration. And we can't play political football right now. We can't play politics. We have to get this done for the American people, and that is the most important thing. And again, if Mitch McConnell is not going to work with us, he needs to get out the way and stop filibustering.
Last night, senior White House aides, including Brian Deese, Louis Terrell, were on the Hill to meet with Schumer and Pelosi. Can you give us a little bit more about that meeting? Was this about the next steps on the debt ceiling, or what was this about?
Jenny, I don't have anything to read out on that. I'm happy to go to look into that, but as you can imagine, we try to keep those conversations private, but I don't have anything for you on that one.
Final one. Senator Manchin also called the Hyde Amendment a red line, and I'm curious how you're going to square that with the president's own stance on Hyde.
I'm not going to negotiate from here. Jen was asked this question as well yesterday, and
that was before Manchin called it a red line. So
no, I hear you. I don't think his position on that has not changed in the last 24 hours. But we're not going to negotiate from here. We're going to just keep moving. As I've said, the Democrats pretty much agree. Majority of Democrats agree that the Build Back agenda and the bipartisan infrastructure bill is going to help middle class families and really give them some space to breathe. And one of the things that we have said over and over again is that it's going to be paid for. We're not going to raise taxes on anyone making less than $400,000, and that's the key here. And we're going to make sure, and we're going to do that by making sure that the wealthiest among us and the largest corporations pay their fair share. Thanks, everybody.
Can you let us know whenever he talks to McConnell?
Sure. Happy to do that.
Thanks, Nick.